Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. It's Tuesday, the 12th of August. I should have known the date. I went and got my hair done today. Got it done just for you guys. Just got it done just for y'all. But welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. We have a lot to go over actually tonight in the live. I actually have a couple lives scheduled, like 3 lives out now. So we are like not hurting for content over here. I was like, wow, I didn't realize that I had so many tabs still opened like at the bottom of my computer that we never went over. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good week for us. But welcome in, everyone. It's good to see you guys. It's good to see we have baby girl, Mary Beth, and Ladybug in here tonight. Can't beat that. Hey, Kathy, welcome in. And thank you, Ladybug. Said, love you, Tanya, and all you amazing peeps. Oh, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate everything you do. And thanks for letting me know about old Cheryl in here last night, blocking everybody. And let me know if you guys can hit the like button, because when I was in a chat earlier today, it was a video. I wanted to hit the like, but it wouldn't let me hit the like. I had to like go out, come back in. I was like, well, that's not fun. Hey, happy mom. Feel like it's been a while. If we could turn, I don't know if we can turn off the crowns in the chat, actually. That's something I don't know. And not on my side, like it doesn't show. And it doesn't show like over here. Yeah. Huh. That I don't know. Are you talking about the little boy, baby girl that I don't know his name. It's really sad I don't know his name. It's been everywhere. I know exactly what he looks like, but I don't know the little boy's name, but that they found him deceased. I feel bad about that. Yeah, another missing kid. They said they found him in like a shallow grave. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Catherine. I didn't say hi to you already. People are getting crazier and crazier, Mary Beth. They're getting bolder and bolder out there. People are feeling entitled or something, right? I don't know. I don't know what it is. This whole world's gone to hell in a handbasket. Well, serious, I hope you're having a good night. And I'm having a good night. Thank you for asking. I don't know. Nicole, are you on a like a computer? Usually you have to be on like a certain device or something to do the app, I think. He's still in that facility. As far as I know, they haven't moved him. They may have moved him inside the facility, but not like out of the facility. Yeah, and make sure your message is just set to all, not top chat, because I do that all the time. Hey, Crime Kitty, welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Brandy Wine, how you doing, girl? Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Mary Beth, for helping out with the at stuff. I'm like, I'm not sure actually. Hey, Dion. Thank you again, Ladybug. That's very sweet of you. You just saw my message. Okay. I just saw that you wrote me. I'm really bad about getting on TikTok. I need to get better at that. I need to go like over there and do lives and stuff like that, just for fun. But I thought about setting up a camera for whenever I do lives that don't require like me to like share my screen. I thought about doing that. Hey, Ashley. And like I told you guys on the other channel, I was doing those live after lives, which I think I should start doing that again. Because that was a good idea. Hey, Pete. Thank you, Brandy Wine. Everyone show Tawny some love. Yeah, hit that like button for me. Hey, Adriana. Hey, Lise. Hey, Jog. It's me, Mike. Hello, it's me, Mike. And thank you for the support, everybody. I appreciate that so much. And if I miss you, I'm sorry. I'm going kind of quicker now. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Blazer. So do you guys remember, it was like a couple weeks ago when I think it was Jules. That's where I heard it. Someone else that was in chat said a lawyer, they heard it on a lawyer's channel that they were charging $20,000 for the, thank you, for the Moscow, like Latah County or whatever, Moscow Police Department was charging that for the FOIA request. Hey, Mariska, thank you. I appreciate that. They did. She did wash it. Next time I'll have her cut it. Mr. Rosebud, just a little bit. I'm like, I need a little trim. Hey, Kitsy Cats. Hey, Kiwi Farms. Aries has the moths. But they weren't lying. Okay, so I'm always hesitant when I hear some crazy thing, like when it comes to Idaho, especially Idaho. And when I heard that it was 20,000, I was like, no way, right? Like, what could they possibly have? I mean, they do have a lot of terabytes, right? So I was thinking that I'm going to show you the email. They are charging, they want your firstborn. And they said, we could have them ready for you in like 35 days. I am so sorry. But if you are charging me 20,000, they want 10 up front and then another 10 after they like get the documents redacted and ready. What are we getting? Like, I don't want pictures. I don't need the crime scene photos. I did say photos in there, I think, though, but I don't necessarily need those. I just need, drawings and sketches and stuff. I'm good with that. Speaking of which, I was going to pull up a few tonight. I'll have to pull those up on the next slide. And it is storming here really bad. If you guys hear the rumbling in the background, I'm sorry. It's like really, really bad. And hey, Dawn. The crowns are like based on, hey, Alicia. And they're based on like how long you like been in the chat and if you like how much you talk in the chat. I heard his mother was arrested. Yeah. Because I saw that JLR went live and I was like, is this true? And then I saw other people were saying that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she confessed. Yeah. Yeah. Shallow grave. Was he the little boy we were talking about that had like ADHD or something the other day? Hey, Cherie. Thanks, Mary Beth. I actually feel like I need to get out and get a tan. Hey, yeah, it's me. It's me, Micro. Right, Mr. Rosebud? I feel like they feel like they're obligated though sometimes. Hey, Lisa. Okay, I'm getting towards the bottom, I think. Hey, PKC, welcome in. It might be. She was the one that when Bryan Kohberger's best buddy in the whole wide world, William, came out, remember? He said that he was an Aries. He was in the military. He knew Bryan Kohberger, never said how or when or nothing like that. And there was creators out there that were truthful creators, and those were all the pro burger channels. And then the other one was they were fat people. Instead of being like non-factual or whatever, he was just calling those channels fat. He didn't have my name on there. My name wasn't on there, but I'm sure I was in the etc. list. But she liked him. She was all smiling about him, I thought. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't what she thought. Thank you, Blazer. Oh, I missed you. Missed you too. I noticed you weren't in the chat last couple of lives, it seems like. Yeah, we're gonna watch Nancy tonight, but we're gonna watch her on podcast because she ain't getting me. She put out some of the photos, the crime scene photos, but there are some new ones that are out that I am going to show you guys. They're not like gory or anything, so they're fine to show. But and the only ones I didn't show were just like 3 or 4. So did it work? Did it let you stream it? Hey, Felicia. Serious. Look at that. 17 months. You've been here longer. Yeah, you've been here. You've been here for a while. I love that. She buried him. And there is grandma in the cemetery. Oh my God. In the cemetery. Oh my God. Hey, Angel. I hope that little boy's up with the angels tonight. You know he is. Hey, Lucy. Jaden, that was his name. Yeah, man. Hey, Elser. I think one of you guys actually was talking about that case, and I had his stuff pulled up. And that's just sad. And I'm like, shit. It's hard. Sometimes they're hard to find. The press conferences, sometimes those are hard to find. Hey, James, JLR is king. King of a lot of things. Do you know I think he's like in the Guinness World Book of Records for that he sued the most people. I mean, mad respect to him for having the diligence to do that. Kim Kardashian was in there, but Donald Trump, nobody was safe. Hey, Groovy Nikki. It does seem like a lot of kids are going missing. There's a lot of kids missing in Ohio. There's actually a case. I don't know if you guys saw it on Law and Crime. Hey, Citizen. I didn't get to listen to all of it, but it sounds like a case that I would like to cover. It's this beautiful girl. She was pregnant. She was found nude in a tote, like 30 minutes from here, I guess. And I was like, what? I'm listening to this on Law and Crime, and I'm like, what? She was from Jackson, which is, I don't know how far it is from here, but I know from Chillicothe, it's like 30 minutes away or something like that. That's where I grew up. So they had transported her from, I guess, Jackson down to here. And it was 2 guys, and they look so rough and terrible. They look like they've cooked meth their whole life. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, not trying to be mean, but they look real bad. And now they're trying to say that she OD'd, but it's like, why did you put her naked in a tote then and transport her, right? Like, why didn't you just call the police and say, hey, I mean, this is what happened. I don't know. I know that people get scared, but she was pregnant. I don't know. It's just weird. But I think we might go over it in a couple of days. If I hear anything else more about it and we can get a live going, I'll do it. Grandma passed in April and then the mother. Oh man, that's sad. That's sad, Dawn. Well, as I can definitely relate to that. Hey, DM. Oh yeah, I'm not showing any pictures of the victims. These pictures are just one of them is the front doors open. They're not There's no blood or anything like that. Anything that I've ever showed with the crime scene photos that had any like driplets of, they had like, there was like little droplets of blood, and that was it. And I think there was like a droplet on the door. That's all I've shown. I feel good about that still. I still stand where I stand. I still feel good. So I'm going to play Nancy, but I'm going to play her podcast. She ain't getting me because I was like, was listening in, and then I was like, wait a minute. And because I had to do some more stuff. So I paused it, and then I went through to see if she showed it, and she did. So the Pullman ones, I can tell you. Actually, let me grab you the link. I got to find it. It's in one of these. It's right here. This is the best one that I've seen. This is like where they're all in a little folder. There you go, Happy Mom. He isn't even that Guinness World Records. I thought he was. Oh my gosh. He wrote a book. I will buy his book. I'll buy it if he signs it. If I don't get a signed one, I don't want nothing to do with it then. Think he'll sign? I think he signed it for me. Hey, True Crime Junkie. I like the name. The dog's so cute. That's a cute dog. Is that a pit bull? That's a really cute dog. I hate playing by the seat of my pants. Right. Willows, yeah. If I could not come on here and sit here and talk to you guys about a true crime case if I didn't go all the way through everything. Like, I don't know. That's probably one of my fears, which, I mean, I shouldn't fear being wrong, because like being wrong is fine. That's perfectly like human. That happens all the time, right? You guys help me in chat if I have a question all the time. But I could never just like see myself not sitting in front of this computer for like 4 hours looking up stuff just to make sure, Oh, he's very, very handsome. Very handsome. And I know what that's like. I got a pit boxer. She's around here somewhere. She's behind me, curled up in a ball. It's raining really bad here, and they're like scared. I'm just going to look at the weather, and then we're going to get started. So this is going to stop in 19 minutes. Thunderstorms, though. Okay. I put out new lights for the birds today. Hopefully they'll come back and want to hang out with me one more time. Trying to get them back over here. We had birds this summer that mated, or whatever they do, made baby birds like 3 different times. So I'm not going to go through like this. I'm not going to read like every word through it, but I'm just going to give you like the gist of how like the conversation went. So basically I put in for a FOIA, and when I put in for the FOIA, do I have the paper here? Yeah, I do. That's awesome. I said that I wanted all reports, body cam interviews, video, audio, jail calls, and jail letters. So I didn't say anything about pictures. So I didn't say anything about pictures. So then they write me back and they say, the city has received your request for records. Related to Bryan Kohberger, Latah County case. And then it gives the case, Ada County, and MPD case number. So this would be for all 3. Due to the increased volume of public records requests, the substantial number of records you are requesting, and the city's legal obligation to review and determine if there are any exemptions from release of the requested records, the city will need a longer period of time to locate, retrieve, review, and prepare the requested records for public release. What do you mean? Like, why do you need more time? You should have all the records. I don't know. That's just weird to me. But it may take the city more than 35 days to obtain this information. Conduct our review and provide it to you. Okay. So, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that, bigger like companies, they put in their FOIAs like way before me. So there should be more stuff coming out like way before 35 days. Do you know what I mean? Because that's just if it was me. But then down here, it's like, what? Oh, also, I know Kaylee lives there, but I don't think she's in chat. Does anybody live in the state of Idaho in our chat right now? Or if you're listening on the replay, if you live in the state of Idaho, let me know. Because I read here that it said that it sounds like if you're a resident or if you're an employee of a resident, then you can get them. But I'm not sure if that's what that actually means. It says documents requested by a person who is not a resident or an employee of a resident. Like, so I think that you can get them cheaper if you live in the state of Idaho. Okay, Mary Beth, I'm going to need you to move. PKC, I wonder if you would be able to get them like cheaper. Like, I should look that up because I wonder, like, what I'm just curious of the cost difference, right? If you live there compared to if you don't live there. And I'm not, I mean, yeah, PKC, I'm not afraid to like, I mean, $20,000. That's what it says right here. Like, it says here, your request is for a substantial number of records that will generate a significant cost to you. Well, at least they're honest. We are unable to provide you a detailed cost estimate at this time, but based on the broadness of your request, it will take more than 300 hours of city staff time to process. What? It's going to take them 300. No, it's not, because you're going to give these same records to every single person. It's only going to take that person one time to go through on a computer, redact everything out, and then hit print for everybody. Right? So like News Nation, they will get the same copies of whatever I'm getting, but we all have to pay the 300 hours of their staff time. No, I should call tomorrow and be like, we are going to wheel and deal with this. You asked News Nation to chip in, and Court TV and Law and Crime and everybody else that's a creator on, YouTube. That's crazy. $20,000. They could put them on a disc. Yeah, even better, Angel, send them right to my email. Like, but it's like, they're not going to be, you know what I mean? That's not like, they're telling everybody this. Pretty sure. Where's the money going? Yeah, I want to know. And if you're a resident there and they're a lot cheaper, then shoot, don't make me break the rules. I don't think that's breaking the rules, is it? Nah. It says if you choose to move forward, I have 7 days to decide what I want to do. But they said we are requiring a deposit of 1/2 of the estimated cost in order to begin review of your request, with the balance being due. Well, I want to know the person that's working on my case files. I want to know his name. I want to be best friends with him. I want to talk to him on the phone every day and ask him how my request is going for 20 grand. And I think we'll see him faster. Thanks, Blazer. Yeah, and there has to be, like a better way. I mean, I know that by the time that I were to pay this, okay, so let's say like we have 22,000 subscribers or 22,000. Say we all chipped in $1 or something, I'm just saying. I'm not saying do that, but I'm just saying if we did, mine would still be like 35 days out. And I feel like people are going to get their requests, like the big companies like Law and Crime, Court TV, like those people, they're going to get their request because they already put theirs in way before me. Right. So they'll be getting their stuff first and then they'll be putting it out. And I feel like it's just going to be out there. So what if we did like end up paying that 20,000 and then people end up getting the information and just putting it out? Or they're going to be really greedy with it because it does cost so much. I don't know. It's going to go it can go either way, but we'll just see how it goes. But I wanted to show you that it was really 20,000. Okay. That thunder is thundering out there. And welcome in, everybody. Hey, Stacy. Welcome in. And hey, Tracy, welcome in. I missed you. Hey, mate. Hey, Marcy. Hey. Okay. Hey, Kara. Well, welcome on in. It's nice to have new people in the chat. We're friendly. We're friendly over here for the most part. We are. No, we are. So this is from the New York Post. A lot of people have been talking about this today. Ashley Banfield is going live, I think, at 10 to talk about it as well. I saw her like little post on Twitter today. She's like, I've got some stuff to talk about with Bryan Kohberger. And I'm like, oh man. So it's apparently, we're not there and we're not there at the prison to know, but apparently Bryan Kohberger is whining about being kept up at night by relentless inmate taunts at maximum security lockup. They're bothering him. Bryan Kohberger needs his beauty rest. He's very skinny and he probably needs to eat something other than that vegan diet, but I guess they're not taken to him. I think that Bryan thought, I killed 4 people. I'm going to be like I'm going to be a baller in prison. Like, I'm going to be one of the big guys in prison. Like, I did something really bad. I think he thought that the inmates weren't going to like say anything, maybe keep that to themselves. They were just going to leave him alone, but they're not. They're not going to leave him alone. They are going to taunt him any chance that they get, at least for a little while. But it says here, convicted killer Bryan Kohberger has whined that he's extremely annoyed and losing sleep at the maximum security prison he now calls home, thanks to fellow inmates who constantly yell through vents into his cell in a relentless taunting campaign, according to a report. This is a report. So Kohberger, who was hit with 4 life sentences last month for slaying 4 University of Idaho students, was transferred from jail to the only maximum security prison in the state and is now being held there in solitary confinement. So I don't know how they said they're going through the vents. I guess all the vents to the toilets probably hook up the same way. Because I know that they can yell through like the toilets even and get like the noise. I don't know how they do it, but people in prison are smart. They're smart. Like, they're not smart because they got in there, but like they're crafty. So if they want to talk, they'll get the message to you. So I already read that. Sorry. And the prisoners at Kohberger's new digs at Idaho's maximum security institution in Kuna have had it out for the convicted criminology student, taking turns shouting into the vents that lead into his cell most hours of the day, a law enforcement source told the Daily Mail. Has to be someone in the jail. And are we going to ever find out who leaked to Dateline, or is that over? We just skipping out on that now? I mean, I don't want to. I want to know who did it. I mean, even if it was on the prosecution side, like I want to know. Kohberger, 28, has made multiple complaints to prison guards that he's been unable to sleep, according to Chris McDonough, a retired homicide detective who works for the Cold Case Foundation. I don't know how he's hearing about it, but he is. It's driving him crazy, McDonough told the outlet. The inmates are tormenting him at night and almost all hours of the day, taunting him through the vents in his cell. They are literally getting up into the grate and yelling at him. Oh, yeah, they do have those grates. Yeah, like if you have, yeah, I've seen them before. Like, they're like, if there's like 2 bunks, you'd have to be on like the top bunk to yell into the crate, though. I think that's what they're talking about, like the air units. It says they're literally getting up into the grate and yelling at him. The inmates are taking turns doing it. It's relentless. He's extremely annoyed and frustrated. He's complaining to the authorities that he can't sleep because of them. General population doesn't stop. The noise will never stop. It'll never stop. Sorry, Kohberger. Sorry to, 163214. It says Kohberger is being housed in the prison's restricted unit in the faculty's J block, away from the general prison population. He's kept in a cell by himself at all times, except for 1 hour a day when he's let into the cage outside for recreation, while he wears restraints, and he's only allowed in 1 shower every other day. So if he's in J block and it's segregated far away from the other inmates, I'm wondering how they're getting that noise to travel. Like, I understand that like through an air vent, it could go far, but with all the other inmates in between, you know what I mean? Like, how are they getting that noise to travel like that? I mean, because like usually, let's say it's like 1 inmate here, you'd have like an inmate beside of another inmate, like they'll be talking. If this guy's yelling through the vent at Kohberger, it's like, how is, they're not picking up all the voices, but that's what they're saying. So, and I wonder if he's in like one of these cells. I doubt it, because he's supposed to be like in isolation. And this is general pop, like dorm. So I don't know. Look at that member for 2 months. Good to see you, Trips. Hey, Computer Kevin. Cup and string like the 70s, yeah. I mean, they even do that fishing where like they take like a wire, or it's not like a wire, but they could take like a piece of a bed sheet off, and they can fish it through like to the next door and they'll get it. And like, I mean, they have ways. They are like, people in prisons are like, I mean, whatever you need, they can help you get it. Stretching. It says the high profile nature of Kohberger's case and the fact that he copped to such horrid crimes makes him a target for other inmates who would want to harm him just to make a name for themselves. And since the other inmates don't pose a physical threat to Kohberger while he's in solitary, prison staff aren't likely to intervene. Still, as attention moves away from Kohberger over time, prison staff will eventually be willing to move him back to the general population. Yeah, but he'll be in there before we know it. Is that it? At the jail that Kohberger was previously kept in while he awaited trial, other defendants said he did unusual things like spending hours on the phone with his mom, Marianne, washing his hands compulsively, taking showers upwards of an hour long, and staying awake at night only to nap during the day. He is not going to be able to take an hour shower. He's going to get 10 minutes. You better hurry if you even get that long, right? Once he confronted another defendant who yelled, "You suck," at a sports player on the TV because he thought the man was insulting Kohberger and his mom as they spoke on the phone. Man loves his mama. Most men do, you know. Last month, Kohberger took a surprise plea deal just weeks before his highly anticipated trial was set to kick off. That actually would have been happening, yesterday, I think? Either the 11th or the 18th. I can't remember now. Oh, look at that, Willis. You've been a member for 6 months. You have been here way longer, but your arm changed, your titanium arm. Now it's rainbow. I remember when Ashley got hers. I just saw her name, so it reminded me of that. Inmates are creative. I mean, more creative than we could ever be on this side, really. I'm telling you, like, they be doing some things. You need a hair tie? They got you. You need, like, a sling for your arm or something? They got you. You need a friend? Sometimes they got you for that too. You want to trade a honey bun for some ramen noodles? They might be down for that. It just says here that he committed, of course, he committed the murders against Anna Kernodle, Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Ethan Chapin on November 13th, 2022 in their off-campus house in Moscow. I don't know if you guys remember them talking about him liking or how he was downloading serial killers, like their whole like case files and stuff, and he was reading up on them, and it was like a little more than just like if you were to just be studying them, it was like going a little above that. One of them was Danny Rolling. We're going to go over him this week on one of our lives because the dude is like mirror image. I mean, it's like a lot of similarities. He was known as the Gainesville Ripper, the one that killed the 5 college students in Gainesville. And that went to the Gainesville, like the Florida school down there. I think it was like University of Florida or something like that. But we'll go through that. So where are we at now? I wanted to go through, I think, the pictures with you guys. But don't worry, DM, that none of them are bad. I'm double checking right now. Yeah, none of them are nothing. Okay. So I did pull up the house pictures too, if we wanted to go through those, like, to see the different, like the layout of the home before the pictures. Actually, maybe we'll just go through that really quick. I'm trying to see where the beginning is. Okay, we'll start here. We'll go here first, and then we'll go to the pictures. So this is just pictures of the house, like before, anybody moved in, obviously. So this room right here is Bethany's room that she stayed in. This is just another angle. So when you look out the bedroom door here, that looks like a wide door, but the door doesn't look wide. Okay, that looks weird to me. The picture, like the door frame, doesn't it look wider than this door? That's weird to me. Okay. But you see the door here, that's to the bathroom. And then they had like a little linen closet there, or bathroom, I'm sorry, and then linen closet, vice versa there. And this is the same room, just a different view. And then this is the other room that's downstairs that nobody was living in or no one was staying in, but they had they used it for like social media and stuff. Same with this. This is the bathroom downstairs. This is, upstairs. Obviously, this is the living room, and then this would be into Dylan's room. This is Xana's room. Now you see how she has like that open closet. So just remember that, because like one of the pictures, it looks like it's Xana's closet. Like there's two pictures. I'm not sure which is which, but this would have been Dylan's room. Same, or that would have been, yeah. Same with that one, yeah. And then the kitchen. All of these are of the kitchen. And then this is the third floor. So this would have been Maddie's room, the bathroom, and then behind whoever took this picture, like behind them would have been Kaylee's room. So that's more into the bathroom. And then this one is Kaylee's room. Same with this. This would have been Maddie's room if you're inside the room where the bed was. And then this is just the back porch. I think that's all of it, really. Okay. So the new pictures that I have, they're just like, I think they're just kind of coming out slowly. I'll show you actually what they're going to come out with. Okay. So the images, there was like, I think 180 some taken. So they have, I'm just going to go through them kind of fast, but they have the key on retaining wall north of the parking lot. They have the front, the front of address, the front of the address, the east side, the west side, the parking lot. They want to take pictures of the black Ford Explorer, with the Washington plates, the parking lot with the northwest corner, like just a bunch of the parking lot, front of address, the, black Ford Explorer again, back seat, front seat, then the Jeep, front seat, back seat, all of that. VIN number of Jeep, the northwest corner of the house, the east side yard, front of residence, then the Chevy Cruze, the Range Rover, the blue Honda Civic. So those were Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana's cars. And the first ones were Ethan's and his siblings. So the west yard, like they want everything. They took pictures of everything. So the north side front door entry, which we'll look at that in a minute. Front door towards west first floor room. Like by the bathrooms, they literally first floor, they're just clicking. So all of the bedrooms on the first floor. Second floor, living room towards the stairs to level 3, which I have the stairs to level 3 now. The kitchen knife on beer pong table that we haven't got a picture of yet. Second floor bathroom. Then it's, Xana Kernodle's room. And then Dylan Mortenson's room. And that was Dylan Mortenson's room, the one that we couldn't figure out. And I said, I think that's Dylan's room. It was Dylan's room. The utility closet under the stairwell, the kitchen, the ground outside a kitchen window, third floor landing bedrooms, the Subaru, there's a Chevrolet parked on Queen Road, Pontiac Ford parked on Queen Road, Buick, Ford, Volvo, Subaru, Toyota. These aren't even vehicles that were there. Blurry photo, I don't even know what that is. So total images released, 23 out of 182 that we know that they took when they first got there. So we should be getting all of those in due time. Yeah. Oh yeah, we probably did see it actually on the table. Probably just not like a close-up of it. But yeah, I think that's where he sat it down too, because he knew the cops were there. And he was like, okay, he didn't feel as scared, I think, So this is just the stairway from the third floor to the second floor. So the picture's not, gory or anything like that. And you have Dylan's room that's open here. You can kind of see into her room. And then the stairs to the third floor. Looks like the light switch is in the off position. So maybe those lights weren't on. But it doesn't look like there's anything on the hand railing that I saw or on the stairs when I looked to say that, he caught Xana on top of the floor or on top of the third floor. So we don't, I mean, I don't, I mean, he definitely probably did, but there's not evidence of it. Oh, thank you. Not 20K, but I'm going to help you reach your goal. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Marcy. Thank you. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome on in. If you guys don't mind, we take a second. I keep going back and forth between you guys. We take a second, hit the like button if you guys care to. That would really help me out. Help me help you. Okay, so this closet I'm not too sure about. I'm thinking maybe it's either Maddie's or Xana's, but I'm not sure. So if you guys know in the chat, let me know. This is a pretty it's like, I mean, it's just, the picture is kind of like, I'll show you the picture. It's just, it's just right there. It's not back further to where you can see how big the closet is or what closet, even really what direction it's going in. I was just reading. And then I don't know, there's a little pink jacket there. Can't really see in the closet to see what shoes are on this rack, but to me, it almost looks like a guy's closet. Look at this looks like a hoodie, like a men's hoodie almost. That almost looks like a men's shirt, but I don't know. Could be second. It could be on the first floor in the other bedroom. Because then we have this one that I'm going to show you. And this kind of looks like it could be Xana's closet. And I wish I had that 3D image of the closet so I could show you how big that closet was. But you guys let me know. Where do you think this was in the house? Like, where was this? This looks like you're putting someone in timeout because they did bad and they're going to write on the chalkboard, I will not do this again 500 times. You would guess Xana? That's what I was thinking. I was thinking this one looked more like Xana's than the first one, maybe. Oh, Marcy. Oh my gosh. If I was in there, I would be cleaning like a crazy person. Just give me a minute in that house. See, I think this looks like a closet. Oh, the cubby area of Dylan's room. Thanks, Nicole. I guess I could look on the document. Let me see. If I have that in there. All the other ones are in there. I'm just double checking. Because that one was Dylan's room. I think I have that picture pulled up. I'm trying to look through them real quick. Did I miss it? Maybe that's like the only one. I think that's not in here. Are we kidding? I'm just going to go through them again really quick. Because those I really genuinely don't know. I just thought that one of them looked like Xana's closet, like one or the other. You know what I mean? Like the way that hers is like a little cubby. So maybe the first one could have been. Okay. I'm trying to see. If like where it would fit in Dylan's room, but I guess it could fit in there. This one's not pulling up. Okay, that's that one. Okay. Yeah, that one I don't have for some reason. I'm like just double, triple checking. And then making sure I showed them all to you. I have like one more, but yeah, I think that's like the only one. Okay. So then do you guys, so this one is in Dylan's room? Like where does she put her clothes? I don't know. I'm sure. I mean, it looks like it was a fun house. I'm telling you, but look at this picture. This picture gives me anxiety so bad. Like I want to clean it and I want to paint it. I want to clean the floors and I just want to paint. Just this is like right inside the door. Like I'm like, those kids have never cleaned a floor in their life. But you know, they were college kids. Why would they? Yeah, Blazer, I figured it would. Well, we kind of always figured that, you know, because that's sad. I'm just reading the chat. Oh, Betsy walking the dogs. Well, he didn't fall off the bed. He was in between the bed and the wall. His head was the way they described it. It was like in an unnatural like position. Like the way that I don't know, the way that it sounded like to me was like it was like this, like down in between like the bed and the wall. Like, but just his head. I'll have to find that report to show it to you guys. I could probably I'll try to look it up here. Well, because I have like them all like tags, so it'd be easier to find. And maybe they'll have that. Maybe they'll have, and maybe it'll be in the paperwork. I can look it up. Let me see. I thought I had Dylan's room up, but I guess I didn't. Where is it? Right here. Like this picture, this like this chair over here. So we could always go. I'm gonna try to see if I. Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. There's like that cubby. Okay. Yeah. There's the closet and then the cubby. Like right here. So then I wonder, so that was probably, this one was probably Xana's closet, maybe. Because it just looks smaller, you know, it just looks small. Yeah, there's a body on the bed, Groovy Nikki. Yeah. That's what the blurred thing is. It's Ethan. Yeah. Oh, it's so sad. Yeah, I think that was, so that was all the pictures I had. This outlet is very strange to me too. Look at that outlet just hanging out all the way up there. Who built this house? Isn't that a weird placement for an outlet? Like you think you'd put lower? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm just looking at these pictures all weird. Okay. So I do have I'm going to put some new pictures up like the pictures that we've seen before that I just kind of showed you. And then I'm going to put up pictures as we're listening. Mia, as we're listening to the podcast. Every night she tries to like bury herself into the floor. I don't know why she does that. Hey, Mia, don't do that. Don't do that, Mia. So she's going to talk today with a few different people. Philip Dubé, Bethany Marshall, the lady that you can like see through her skin. That lady. Chris McDonough is on here. Joseph Scott Morgan and Susan Hendricks and Dave Mack. So they're going to talk about Kohberger and how he's stressed out. in jail. I'm sure she's got a lot to say. They're also going to go over the crime scene photos, and I will put up some pictures and stuff as we're listening in to this podcast. So thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it. I would get Nancy out. She's under the chair again, and the dog is laying there, so I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother him, or bother her. But normally Nancy would be standing beside me. But yeah, Mia's probably scared of Nancy right now. But thanks again for being here. I'll be in the chat with you guys, and then I'm going to pause this, here and there. That way we can do commentary over it. So. Actually, it's going to be loud. Let me turn it down.
This is an iHeart podcast.
1 p.m. Pacific.
Clean, spotless sofa.
Hello, Divorce.
Stories with Nancy Grace. Bryan Kohberger stressed behind bars. Really? Inmates constantly harassing Kohberger through the air vents. Boo-hoo. As we learn who Kohberger and his fleet of attorneys plan to blame for the murders at trial. This, as we learn, the feds could seek the death penalty even now. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
Chilling crime scene photos released in the Bryan Kohberger case detailing the tragic murders of the 4 University of Idaho students killed in the attack.
The irony that now we are learning about the true brutality of these 4 murders after the deal is done. This, as we are learning, Bryan Kohberger is stressed behind bars. Inmates constantly harassing him through the air vents and more. But before I get to those facts, I want to go straight out to renowned psychoanalyst Dr. Bethany Marshall, joining us out of Beverly Hills. Author of Deal Breaker. You can see her now on Peacock, and you can find her at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany Marshall, I'm just a trial lawyer. You're the shrink. This is completely bass-ackwards. He's stressed behind bars, and he's whining because inmates are whispering to him and yelling at him through the air vents. So, I'm not exactly sure what a narcissist is when the whole world revolves around me, but I think that would be him.
A sociopath is a narcissist on steroids. It is the same disorder, Nancy. It's a spectrum disorder. Just like narcissists lack empathy, sociopaths have no feeling for other human beings or even for themselves, Nancy. So this whole idea that he's stressed behind bars would mean only one of 2 things. One is that he's just manipulating the judge. That's it, because I don't think he feels much at all. The other is that maybe he's getting some kind of pleasure from all the attention he's getting and he just wants to talk about. The other is that he probably has not received any consequences for his actions thus far in life. So the fact that he's actually having consequences is surprising to him. And so he has to talk about it.
I'm learning so much is all pouring out now that the deal is done. I'll tell you who is probably stressed, which I'm going to get to in just a moment with Susan Hendricks and Dave Mack. The people that Bryan Kohberger was planning to blame at trial, forget about him being not guilty, according to him, of course, which is a lie. But he was actually going to compound by blaming somebody else for the murders, knowing full well he's guilty. And I don't mean just hey, there was another burglary down the street the week before. No, he was actually going to blame a specific friend of the victims. And that friend of the victims would have those allegations hanging over his head the rest of his life, even though Kohberger knew he was guilty. That takes a certain mindset. You're not just claiming I'm guilty, don't send me to the death penalty. You're actually blaming another person. And Philip Dubé, without going to DEFCON 4 in the law, guys, Dubé, veteran trial lawyer, joining us out of the LA jurisdiction. Dubé, for a defendant to blame a third person, it's the SOD defense. SOD, some other dude did it. You can't just say, hey, crime statistics are up in this neighborhood with burglaries, so it's one of them. To bring in some other dude did it, you have to have an actual dude. You have to have, it can't be an amorphous, maybe this person did it. Maybe you have to have somebody you're going to blame under the law. That's the law in every jurisdiction. So Kohberger's defense had actually picked out somebody to blame.
It's not enough. You have to show more than means, motive, and opportunity. You have to show that there is corroborating evidence linking that alternate perpetrator, if you will, to the crime itself. And that's why you have a judge who steps in and says, look, if you can't link the two, then you're really asking a jury to find unreasonable doubt as to who the real perpetrator is. And the judge will step in and shut it down.
I'm taking that to mean that you're trying to say, yes, the defendant must point to a specific person. And in this case, the defense had created a lot of links between that person and the victims, knowing full well and ultimately pleading guilty to the murders. I mean, Dr. Bethany Marshall, back to me, Bryan Kohberger, who is stressed behind bars. He actually had a scapegoat that he was willing to take down for that person forever to have that dark cloud over them. Hey, maybe he did it. For the rest of his life, for the rest of his family's lives, so Kohberger could walk free. That's a whole nother layer of evil right there. Not just, I didn't do it, believe me, jury, but he did it. Blame him. That's pretty bold. Wouldn't you say,
Nancy,
Bethany?
Oh, yeah. Nancy, you referenced narcissism earlier. You know, the primary feature, again, is lack of empathy towards others. The second feature of malignant narcissism is destructiveness. People who are malignant narcissists want to take everybody down around them. The destruction could be committing homicide, or for anybody who's married to a malignant narcissist, it could be destroying your friends, isolating you from other people, total lack of remorse over what happens to you. And then when you get the sociopath on steroids, you have the addition of cruelty, which is not just dragging other people in because you don't care about them, but you enjoy seeing other people sweat, cry, bleed, whatever it is, you get pleasure from that.
Straight out to Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Who exactly was Bryan Kohberger planning to blame for 4 vicious murders? This is a whole nother layer of evil. As just now, after the deal is already done, signed, sealed, and delivered on that guilty plea to escape the death penalty, now we're learning about the brutal nature of the crimes, more and more details of him lying in wait, walking around the murder scene, even finding and tracing his trail footsteps in the snow Kohberger left behind. But we're learning his defense. His defense was to blame an innocent person. Dave Mack, who did Kohberger plan to blame?
Of the 4 people he planned to blame, one of them was Kaylee Gonzalez's ex-boyfriend, known as JD, who she shared the dog Murphy with. They actually had that as their first child. And that's who he planned to put all of this on.
Dave Mack, did I hear you say that there were 4 people he planned to blame?
He did. And Nancy, 3 of the 4, by the way, we don't have the names of any of them, but 3 of the 4 had an acquaintance or some type of social or other media involvement with one of the roommates. But it came out that Kaylee Gonzalez had an ex-boyfriend who she actually tried to contact that morning. If you remember, there were several phone calls that Kaylee and Maddie made to the ex-boyfriend. And it was, you know, they had a good relationship, even though they were broken up. Their families actually fully expected them to get back together. They were just going through a down phase. But they did share the dog, Murphy. That was a mutually owned pet. And that's what they were communicating about. So Kohberger planned, his defense team was to roll this ex-boyfriend under the bus and blame him for everything.
Guys, earlier you heard Dubé, and he was correct, where the defense creates links between the phantom perpetrator and the crime. And in this case, and correct me if I'm wrong, Susan Hendricks joining us and Dave Mack, there were 4 individuals Kohberger planned to blame for the murders. One, the ex-boyfriend, and the other, speaking of those links that Dubé brought up, The judge even noticed that 3 of the friends lived within walking distance of the King Road scene, right? So it's placing them in the scene. They were friends and they had likely been in the home, and their fingerprints or their DNA would be in the home. Clearly, the ex-boyfriend fingerprints or DNA would be in the home. The point is, those links between some other dude and the murders could easily be demonstrated by fingerprints and DNA, 3 living within walking distance, 1 having had a romantic relationship with one of the victims. Those would be the links that Kohberger would capitalize upon to blame somebody else. And what I'm saying, Susan Hendricks with us now, investigative reporter and author of an incredible book, Down the Hill, My Descent into the Double Murder in Delphi. Susan, blaming somebody else and naming them by name to have that forever hanging over their head, that's not why he's stressed behind bars, that he was going to stab somebody else in the back. He's stressed behind bars because the inmates are whispering to him through the vents, calling him a killer, and he's whining about it. Seriously?
Absolutely. It's all about Bryan Kohberger, and it always has been. And sadly, it doesn't surprise me, the finger pointing, Nancy. I saw it in Delphi with the Odinist theory, and names were named. Meanwhile, the judge said, hey, there's no connection. You can't use the third-party defense. But he didn't care. And bringing up Kaylee's ex, they were on and off, high school sweethearts, Jack DeClure. They called each other several times that night. Also, Maddie tried to call him. And he was cleared by police, and he just disappeared because he was being harassed, and there was finger pointing. This is before Kohberger was arrested. But it doesn't surprise me at all that Kohberger only cares about himself and being stressed because of what he's going through, not the lives he destroyed.
I mean, Dr. Bethany Marshall, don't you know that Bryan Kohberger and his defense team were just salivating, drooling when they learned the ex-boyfriend was scheduled to come in and give fingerprints at the Moscow police station? They're like, hey, jackpot, let's blame him, regardless of what it would do to the ex-boyfriend and the 3 other friends they planned to blame, what it would do to their lives. That meant nothing to them.
It was like, oh, happy day for them. It meant absolutely nothing that these kids, and these were college kids, their reputations would be ruined for the rest of their life. But you know what it also shows, Nancy, is the level of methodical planning that Kohberger engaged in. His whole life was organized around eventually committing this crime, from being a criminology student to being a security guard, to getting girls' numbers at bars, to trying to be, more outward and outgoing than he really was. He thought about this for years, Nancy. So I wouldn't be surprised if learning who was living on that block and who the girls were dating and the ins and outs of their lives were also a part of the sick, twisted fantasy life that he engaged in. Probably, this is so sick, I hate to even say it, but even imagining the sex lives of these girls with their boyfriends and the nature of the interactions, and maybe even in a cruel, sadistic way, wanting to throw those boys under the bus because they got the girl, not him.
Okay, you know what? Very often when trying cases, I would ask a witness to repeat something that was particularly probative or impactful. I need to hear what you just said, because we have uncovered a friend of Kohberger's that said Kohberger incessantly talked about wanting a girlfriend. I think he was an incel. And
I don't know if he was an incel, but yeah, I think the guy needed a girlfriend, but that girl at his school liked him and he didn't like her. Apparently it wasn't his type.
Voluntary celibate. That's neither here nor there at this juncture, but it fits in with what you just said. Okay, very slowly, say that again, because it just hit me. As he was digging up and trying to create who they're going to blame, the sexual enjoyment he may have had about thinking of the friend. What were you saying?
He wasn't just a sadist, Nancy. He was a voyeur. And incels hate women because they can't get them. And he had a long history of not being able to get a girlfriend or to have a satisfactory relationship. So part of the preparation for the crime was a lurid fascination with the sex lives of these girls. And part of that was identifying their boyfriends, men who may have lived on the block, spying on them, being incredibly, seethingly envious and jealous of those relationships, wanting to destroy them, and wanting to throw these young men under the bus to get them out of the way as sexual rivals.
Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. Dave Mack joining us. Dave Mack, it went a long way. It went a good distance as far as defenses go, trying to frame the other 4 individuals. Tell me about it. What were they digging up in order to blame the other people?
The defense claimed that 3 of the 4 suspects were within walking distance of the King Road house. So they had, an opportunity to be right there when they needed to be. So that was one of the big things that they had about these possible alternate suspects.
Philip Dubé, have you ever had a twin case? And what I mean by that is when you're defendant, it's every prosecutor's worst nightmare, and it's every defense attorney's
DNA
favorite dream when the perp actually has a twin and the DNA is extremely similar. I actually had a murder case where there was a twin. Yeah. So the point is, the defendant will do anything to blame somebody else. And in this case, you've got the texting to the ex-boyfriend, you've got the friends down the street. I'm sure they could have dredged up some type of a misunderstanding or a disagreement or anything to support those theories.
Of course. And by the way, I've had that. Not often, I believe twice in my career. One was a sex trafficking murder where they found a prostitute dumped in a hefty bag off the freeway here in Southern California. And fortunately, legally, the defendant had an identical twin. They filed nonetheless because they had ample evidence putting him in his car at the scene where the body was dumped. Now, having said that, even if you want to blame an identical twin, there has to be more than just the motive, means, and opportunity in matching DNA. There has to be something that links that twin to the crime, not necessarily socially or interactively with the victim or victims. They have to be linked to the crime.
Wait.
How did Bryan
just save your breath? We got a lot to get into the program tonight. They had that link because they had fingerprints and DNA of all 4 of the potential suspects at the crime scene because they had been in probably more than they had of Kohberger. Of course, their DNA wasn't on the knife hilt. I mean, Joe Scott Morgan joining me, Professor Joe Scott Morgan, Professor of Forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, and star of a hit new series, Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. We are also now learning about the horrific brutality of these crimes, but my point to you for right now anyway, Joe Scott, is that none of those 4 individuals' DNA or fingerprints were anywhere connected to the crime, not on the victims' bodies, not in a bloody fingerprint, not on the murder weapon sheath. So, you know what? Technical legal term, I don't know if you've ever heard this, Kohberger was screwed because his DNA was on the knife sheath. And not just the sheath, on where he had pressed in the snap. I mean.
Yeah, it's a major problem for them. But here, like that, let me give you this. And this is so disgusting to me on the part of the defense. Okay, so you've got access, you being the defense, to all of this imagery. You see everything inside of that house. You know how brutal this event was. I'm not going to say event, massacre. Was inside of there.
Thank you. I was about to, my head was blowing off when you called it an event, like it's a church social or a bridal shower. It's not an event. It's a quadruple murder where Ethan's arterial blood squirted up on the ceiling. And now I'm learning, Joe Scott, he was half hanging off the bed, half hanging off Xana's bed where his jugular had been slashed.
Yeah, right you are. And it was, the environment was just super saturated with blood. The defense was aware of this. So you're telling me going down this road as long as they'd gone, remember, it was just a few days before they reached this deal that they were still, kind of putting this out there that there was somebody else involved. Why is it that you care so little about the community around this location that's never experienced anything like this, that you're not climbing up onto the roof of every house there screaming it that there is still a murderer out there? We have their name. We have the information. No, you're allowing the people in this area to walk around in fear. And that's what's so obscene about this, Nancy, that they go down this road and they believe that there is somebody out there that has the ability to commit this level of violence, but yet they're not going to interdict it. They're not going to help the community at all. They just let this person roam loose. So if you've got that information, let it go. I don't care about the fantasy world of courtroom right here. I'm talking about the real environment at the scene. And there's a major disconnect here. I don't know where their moral compass is, because I got to tell you, the needle's broken on it, Nancy.
Unrecognizable because of the stabs to her face.
So many stab wounds. So many stab wounds.
It's unbelievable.
He brutalized each and every one of them.
Only now is the brutality of these crimes leaking. We're now finding out how horrific the crime scene really was after being told at the get-go they were killed in their sleep. They probably didn't even know what hit them. BS. Now, will the feds seek the death penalty on Bryan Kohberger? Listen to this.
Over objections from the victims' families, the Moscow Police Department releases hundreds of crime scene photos and videos related to the investigation. One of the shocking photos is blurred, as it is a picture of a bed where one victim was murdered.
We have all heard of double jeopardy, which means, for instance, Orenthal James Simpson, O.J. Simpson, was acquitted of double murder. Even if he later confessed, such as in his video and book, "If I did it, please stop," still couldn't retry him at the state level. However, feds have a death penalty. It is not considered double jeopardy because the feds are considered a different jurisdiction, so to speak, a different sovereign, as opposed to the state system where he took the weak plea. Example, Luigi Mangione. The feds swooped in and are prosecuting him on what could have been state charges. We all remember the Rodney King case and more. So straight out to Philip Dubé joining us. Dubé, it is entirely possible for the feds to seek the death penalty in this case for many reasons, including crossing state lines from Pullman to Moscow. But explain in a nutshell, this is not a law review article. Just explain in a nutshell how this could happen.
And obviously, Kohberger's doctoral curriculum did not include federal jurisdiction. The bottom line is this, that the feds have authority to prosecute any murder where a defendant uses interstate travel or interstate communications lines because there is a federal interest to capture, apprehend, and prosecute anybody that does that. And as soon as he got in the car and went from Moscow or from Pullman to Moscow and returned then to Pullman, he immediately triggered federal jurisdiction. And there are other situations as well, you know, like, for example, maritime admiralty, you know, that kind of stuff. But he is absolutely at risk. Now, as a practical matter, I sincerely doubt that they will go after him. And if they did, they could seek death, and the method of execution would be from the law of the state. And in this case, because Idaho has the firing squad, he would be subjected to that if the feds went after him. But because he pled,
Wouldn't that be something?
it pretty much closed the case out. But had he have gone to trial, and let's say he would have been acquitted, the feds would have swooped in and gone after him. Or let's say he would have been convicted and the case is on appeal, and the feds had some concern that maybe it could get reversed, maybe because of his autism spectrum disorder, they would then come after him federally. But those would be
Whoa, hold on before you continue. Dr. Bethany Marshall, can we stop with the spectrum? Because that was never, in all the years of him being tested and getting his PhD, for Pete's sake, never was autism brought up until his defense team brought it up after he committed quadruple murder. I don't want to hear any more about all of his mental defects, his emotional problems, or the spectrum. All of that has never been proved. Those are just arguments made up by the defense, just like the argument that the ex-boyfriend and 3 friends committed the murders. Those are lies.
Hey, look, has he been on medication for autism spectrum disorder? I haven't heard anything about that. And also, is there any medical record? He went through a PhD program. I think this is an insult to people who are neurodiverse. It's linking a mental condition with being homicidal, and the two have nothing to do with each other.
You know, two special guests joining us, Chris McDonough, who has been to the scene many, many times. He is the star of The Interview Room on YouTube, former homicide detective with over 300 homicide investigations under his belt. You know, Chris McDonough, at this juncture, with so many people, including some of the victims' families, revolting against this guilty plea, why wouldn't the feds seek justice?
You know, I think it's still on the table that they could, because there is a great push from the family, specifically Kaylee's family, that wants this justice in terms of the death penalty. So if he does, like, Counselor said here a bit ago, if in fact he starts pushing an appeal, I could see the feds going, hey, wait a minute, this could get out of control really fast, and step in.
Could a legal loophole bring Bryan Kohberger to the federal death penalty despite his weak plea deal? Yes, a legal loophole could see Kohberger face the death penalty despite the plea deal. Why? He crossed state lines. That puts him in the crosshairs of federal charges. But will it happen? Straight out to Susan Hendricks joining us, investigative reporter. What, if anything, do you know about the possibility the feds could still swoop in?
Absolutely. As you said, there is a possibility, and I know who's hoping for that. That's Kaylee's father. Because as we're getting more information, it's being uncovered that he said, look, this investigation was bossed in terms of the prosecution, what the families wanted. He even went on to say that he believes they were separating the families and pitting them against each other so they wouldn't bond together and say, no, we want to go to trial. We want the death penalty. And he believes the prosecution wanted this gone. And now he said he's offended because the prosecutor's on a media tour.
You know, exacerbating everything is that we are learning during the sentencing that Kelly Gonsalves's mother gets a death threat. Listen.
During Kohberger's sentencing, someone claiming to be inside the courtroom was terrorizing the mother of Kaylee Gonsalves. Christy Gonsalves received an anonymous death threat on her phone during the sentencing hearing. The text reads, "Sitting near you in court and watching you is a joke. You know that Bryan is innocent." But that isn't all. The message continues, "I am in contact with a lot of serial killers, including BTK, and I've been in contact with a wannabe serial killer who is in Moscow, Idaho, and I have given him your address." Kaylee's dad, Steve, says authorities are investigating the messages.
And then let me ask you, did you, on November 13th, 2022, enter the residence at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, with the intent to commit felony murder?
Can you imagine after everything the Gonsalves family has lived through and are still living through, along with the other victims' families, that Mrs. Gonsalves actually gets a death threat as she is sitting in the sentencing hearing? To you, Susan Hendricks, investigative reporter, therefore the sentencing, exactly what happened?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a threat sent to Kaylee's mother during this. I was inside of that courtroom and we didn't know it at the time, but now it's starting to make sense why Steve stood behind his wife during her victim impact statement. I think to say, hey, I'm protecting my wife. Imagine the worst day you could ever imagine in your life, facing the monster that did this to your daughter, and someone inside is threatening you. But the woman next to me, the public was allowed in. They had to wait in line, as did I, hours before, the night before. She believed that he was not guilty, that Bryan Kohberger was not guilty. And so I'm thinking now, was it her who wrote that? Who wrote it? I'm thinking, who was in that courtroom and who had the audacity, the nerve to send that to Kaylee's mother? It's sick.
Of all,
I think they found out that it was somebody that wasn't even in the state. I think it was like somebody that was not even in the state at the time. They did find out who it was.
People, Dr. Bethany Marshall, to send that to a victim's mother in the middle of sentencing? What? Who are these people?
Nancy, they're wannabe sociopathic killers. I mean, it is not surprising to me at all that a court trial like this would draw other little mini Kohbergers who are admiring him, who are living salaciously off of the details of the crime, want to hear every little minute of it, and even put their toe over the line by making a death threat themselves. So this does not surprise me at all. And in fact, I think in court cases like this, people should be more carefully screened to see what their background is, what their interest is, because a lot of them are what we call offender identified.
You know what's interesting, Dr. Bethany? This is at the sentencing where he has already pled guilty and he's being sentenced. Yet people are still deluded and insisting that he is innocent and going so far as to make a death threat on the mom. I mean, exactly what was the threat, Susan Hendricks? What did the threat say to Mrs. Gonsalves?
The threat said something to the effect that they know that Kohberger is innocent and threatening harm against the family. I mean, the lowest of the low, but I've seen it in other cases as well. I go back to Delphi. I mean, people are sick. Even when he pled guilty, he said he's guilty. And they're saying, no, not so.
It says, I'm sitting near you in court and watching you is a joke. That's what they're saying to Kaylee's mom. You know, Bryan is innocent. But that's not all the message said. It says, quote, I am in contact with a lot of serial killers, including BTK, bind, torture, kill, Dennis Rader, and I've been put in contact with a wannabe serial killer who is in Moscow, and I've given him your address.
Yeah, that threat should be taken seriously.
That is an overt threat. And what I don't get to you, Chris McDonough, the same people that are responsible for this weak plea deal are investigating that threat. How hard can it be to find out who sent a text?
Yeah, you know, this is one sick puppy, whoever this individual is. And it is not very hard at all to track that number down. A lot of people believe that once you get a burner phone, that there's no way of getting, you know, a connection back to who may have that in their position. But in fact, there is. And it's a system called Whooster, WHOOSTER, and they will find you.
This as now we're learning about the true brutality of these crimes. Why was that not released sooner? Because there would have been a riot at the courthouse as a result of these pleas. Listen.
Many of the photos released are so gruesome they are heavily blurred. In surveillance video from a neighboring house, time is documented that appears to show Kohberger driving around the neighborhood for 15 minutes before stopping. The video documents what seems to be noise coming from 1122 King Road. At 4:17 and 40 seconds, what sounds like a thud, followed by a person crying, then a dog begins barking.
Let's be real. Life happens. Kids spit our module.
Saturday for a do or die.
You that they have the best car insurance, $900 a year
in your life. Smooth and
East. The.com.
Dang, she was getting in those ads, wasn't she?
Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. You just heard about video that is now just being released. The video is accompanied with audio, and it is actually painful to listen to because you hear what sounds like a thud, which is clearly one of the 4 victims falling to the ground. Some enhanced versions, you hear a whimper, and then you hear the dog, Murphy, begin barking violently. I wonder what Kohberger's reaction would be hearing this. Listen. You know, Joe Scott Morgan, just hearing that, I'm only going to play it once. I don't want to hear it over and over and over. It's the sound of one of the victims getting stabbed and falling to the ground. I don't know which victim. One of the female victims, stabbed 20, 30 times in the
Probably Xana, because it was 50 feet from her bedroom window to that camera.
face. Was it her? And you hear the dog going berserk. It's just to put yourself at that moment, knowing that's what's happening right then. It's excruciating to me.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is, Nancy. And, you know, there's been these little bits of information that have come out that when you take them all in context, it's like a gut punch. For me, when I first watched the surveillance video, that raw video, there's not much that makes me uncomfortable any longer at this point in my life. This did, because when you get to that mark on this recording where you know that this is going down, it's quite chilling. But Nancy, kind of a redirect on me, I got to tell you something. Those images from inside of the house, and this is coupled with this video, Nancy, when you look at Kaylee's room, there's a shot of the floor in there. And if you look very carefully, look straight down, see those droplets of blood right there? Do you know what that means? Those are passive blood droplets. He was standing there with the knife in his hand, not moving. For each one of those droplets that you see, that's a passive drop that comes off of the tip of that blade or off of his clothing and just drips. Think about how long he lingered there and just kind of observing what he had done, thinking about it. Where do I go next? What do I do? And yet I haven't seen, obviously, the horrific images of blood, but just that alone, coupled with a timestamp on that video that's rolling, you know the dynamic in this house. He's in control at that moment in time, and he has just butchered these precious kids one by one, and he's contemplating where to go next, what to do next.
You know, Susan Hendricks joining us, investigative journalist and author. Everyone said, why didn't the dog bark? The dog barked his head off.
Yeah. And I think that barking, as I'm listening to it, may have saved Dylan's life, because at that point I'm thinking he thought, okay, I got to get out of here at this time. And as we're listening and watching, Nancy, what shocked me as well, I listened to Steve Gonzalez talk about, I guess I automatically think they take the families aside and say, okay, we're going to release this now. No, they're seeing this on the news as we are. And he said, I believe that everyone should have information, but of course not the most gruesome photos of their children. And it's par for the course. I mean, this family's been through hell, and they continue to be blindsided by all of this. And they have to go through FOIA requests in court if they want to block anything from being released. It's just making everything more difficult and horrific for the families.
As you just heard investigative reporter Susan Hendricks state, all of these horrific photos, videos, audios are being released without the family's consent. Just like the plea deal was reached without the family's consent, all done in secret. Why? When things are done in secret, that makes me very suspicious about the motive. To Justice Scott Morgan joining us, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University, author and star of Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, I want to talk about what we are learning regarding the brutality of these crimes. Every time there's another data dump, it just gets worse. And I imagine there's a lot more that hasn't been released yet.
Yeah, there has been. And, I think that kind of the tranche of images that have been released to this point, maybe less than 200, I would suspect. In forensics, Nancy, when we're documenting a scene, and you well know this, there's going to be thousands of these images that have been taken all over the course of this thing. But what we can establish here, I think, is a pattern of movement on the part of this perpetrator as they move through this residence, killing one by one these kids. That's the most striking thing. And look, I know the family doesn't want these photos out there, but I have to give high marks to the police in this bit. They're in control of these images because they have, I think, strategically released them as opposed to these things just coming out on the internet and being dumped all at once. And this is kind of a slow burn. I think that we'll probably see more. They're in control of these images. I think there's a lot more information that we would all like to know, but you have to think about the families. At the end of the day, the kids are gone, but the families remain, and they are the true victims now that the kids are gone. They are the true victims, and they're going to be paying the price for this for the remainder of their days.
And now they can think about all the weirdos poring over the graphic videos and photos of their children. Listen.
Shocking crime scene photos taken hours after the massacre shows a horrifying scene. Blood splatter clearly visible on the walls and doors. Blood drops and cast off photographed on the hardwood floors, and blood on the victim's bedding.
Dr. Bethany Marshall joining us, psychoanalyst. How many times do you think Bryan Kohberger pored over these photos, and why?
Oh, he pored over them continuously, as are the wannabe Kohbergers who are going to court. Nancy, these Kohberger wannabes, the reason they sent the death threat is that the mighty king has fallen, and now they are stepping in to take his place. That's one point. The other
I hope not.
Point is the indignities that these families are suffering. There's one aspect we haven't talked about, and that is the fact that Ethan's throat was slashed, but the other girls were stabbed multiple times. This tells me that that Kohberger wanted to get Ethan, the only male in the house, out of the way. He was just dispensing with him. He didn't get the same sadistic pleasure stabbing him multiple times. He wanted to do that to the girls, just like he's throwing all the rivals, the men in the neighborhood under the bus. This is one sick man, Nancy. His whole, his guiding principle, incel, as you said earlier, principle, get the other men out of the way so I can have access to the women who are rejecting me. And now I hate them. I'm going behind bars. I am going to whine. I'm going to beg. I'm going to complain. But all my little minions are coming into court. They're stepping in after me because Nancy, there are a lot of other Kohbergers behind him. And that's what worries me about these crime scene photos. Not only is it disturbing and re-traumatizing to the families, it's stimulating to other perpetrators. They have a lot of material in their hands now to incite them to commit similar crimes.
What you just said is very disturbing in that, to you, Chris McDonough, we saw Kohberger poring over prior serial killers. He was especially obsessed with Bundy and I think BTK. His life works was studying what they did and how they got caught. And now, don't you know, serial killer wannabes all over the world are saying, note to self, don't leave knife sheath behind. And what they learned from him about disposing of the weapon, stalking the victims ahead of time, pre-planning and pre-planning and pre-planning. And only now we're learning about the brutality of the murders. Just the fact that what Dr. Bethany just said, this is giving a primer, a how-to other serial killer wannabes.
Yeah, absolutely, Nancy. And isn't that disturbing in of itself? And let's not also forget that he has access to all of those digital photographs of that crime scene because the defense and the defendant get access to all of that information. So
he doesn't have that anymore. They're not going to give him access to that in the prison.
So if he's even thinking about an appeal, let's think about this for a moment. He gets to take that to the Department of Corrections and have that in his cell as legal documents.
They don't give you paper
that's
anymore.
Disturbing in of it.
They don't give you paper anymore, sir. They give you just what they gave him, a little freaking floppy looking disk thing or a disk, and it has all your files on it. You get to go to the computer, the old fashioned computer that doesn't have internet. And you can put that disk in there and you can look at your files for a couple hours a day.
Itself, because he's reliving those very nights and that very crime while incarcerated. That's disturbing in of itself. And like Doc Morgan was talking about, that photograph right there, he stood there and that knife, from that blood groove on that knife, that drop is a 90-degree, what we call 90-degree blood spatter. And if you look at the
That's
other
what I
photograph, that is arterial spray where Ethan's throat was cut, and every heartbeat created that pattern of blood on the wall.
Philip Dubé, defense attorney, why should Kohberger get to keep these crime scene photos and pore over them and delight in them, even sexually, behind bars? Why should he get that?
When the case is over, they're allowed to have it. And the reason why is it's their file. Counsel does not own the file. We're the mere custodian of it, the guardian of it while their case is pending. But afterwards, it is theirs to have. Unfortunately, that is the law. And in fact, if you don't give it to them, the attorney can be in trouble with the state bar.
Dr. Bethany Marshall.
They should charge him $20,000.
This is so wrong that these photos, graphic photos of the victims, are being released without the family's okay.
She put them on her channel.
And Kohberger gets the photos. Can you imagine what he's doing with the photos? And they're much worse than what we're showing right now. They're photos of the dead bodies lying prone. It's much worse than what we're showing on air.
Nancy, these photos are like a serial killer's pornography. Let's think about the MO of these types of crimes. It is to inflict maximum cruelty in order to achieve sexual pleasure. That is the MO. Sadism is a perversion. People need to know that. It is a perversion. Voyeurism, looking through the windows, that is a perversion. So now this perverse, sadistic, wannabe serial killer has the crime scene photos. What is he going to do? He's going to sit in jail and masturbate all day long. And we've talked about families, the indignities inflicted.
He is not going to be sitting there doing that all day long. Maybe when he's in solitary or something. I doubt that, though. The prison guards got to check on him every so many minutes, like every 10 minutes. They're going to be like, hey, Kohberger, keep your hands off yourself. And around other inmates, he would not do that all day, every day in front of some other inmates. They would end up knocking him out.
Upon them, they know this. They're not stupid. They're listening to the news. They've studied psychopaths.
Just going to be sitting around masturbating the whole time he's in prison. No, don't think so. I think he's going to be getting his ass beat.
paths. They know what's happening with their children's photos, crime scene photos. They have to live with this for the rest of their lives now.
Tell me exactly what's going on. One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. Okay. Oh, and I saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Hi, and are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, but we gotta go check. But we have to.
Will the feds intervene and seek the federal death penalty? Will Kohberger continue to whine, me, because the other inmates are harassing him behind bars through the air vents? What more will we learn about the night these 4 students were brutally murdered, not in their sleep? We wait as justice unfolds. And now we remember an American hero, Deputy Sheriff Ned Byrd.
I have to take the picture down and get myself put back on here, but let me see. I couldn't show some of the pictures. Like my picture thing it won't scroll back up. I'm like, okay. I have 20 pictures here though, but still I was wanting to show more. And welcome in everybody. And I guess Kohberger knows what he's going to be doing. Nancy Grace knows anyway. I love Nancy, but that woman be crazy. She's crazy. She be crazy. She better actually Mary Beth. That's what we got to do. We got to get Nancy Grace to tell me happy birthday. We got to send her my picture with me and Nancy that I have. I think that's a good picture. Looks just like her. Hey, Rose. Oh, you live in Idaho? I have to see. I'm going to see how much the documents are if you're a resident of Idaho. I'm going to find that out. And if not, then I will. Hey, TNT, I'll get with one of you guys and show you how to like to do it and see if you do it on your end. Because I'm wondering, wouldn't that be insanity if, let's just say, if you're you're in Idaho, you could get them for $500 or something. Now that's more my speed. Imagine if this was your child. Yep, Cheryl. That's why on this channel, we were live the night that the crime scene photos were put out. So my whole live before those photos came out, my whole live was going to be dedicated to Mr. Gonzalez and his interview that he did on one of the shows. It might have been News Nation. I think it was News Nation, maybe. Talking about how, with Jesse Weber, he was talking about how they haven't had any control. None of the parents have really had any control over anything in this case, especially Bryan getting, the plea deal and stuff like that. And they were just we really don't want these photos to be shown. And so we're listening to that. And then all of a sudden, someone comes in the chat and they're like, they released the crime scene pictures. And I'm like, oh my gosh. My heart went into my stomach. I was like, oh, this isn't good. I was like, what do they look like? What are they? Because I didn't want to look. And then I went to Twitter, of course, on accident, and I saw them. But hey, is she? I thought I saw something. They do need to change the law. They shouldn't get pictures. My thigh's bigger than her entire body, creepy Nikki said. So I chose to not show them on this channel here. But maybe if you guys do want to see them, they're out there though. I'm much prettier than Nancy. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, Ashley, I grew up with Nancy in my house. That's why I can listen to her yelling and it doesn't bother me. It's I'm a Libra. But yeah, my mom used to hate Nancy. My dad loved Nancy because she was so out there, in your face, blunt. And my dad just loved that. And he loved true crime. So we watched the OJ trial. I remember that was on. That trial was so long. No one could watch TV because my dad was recording it on the VHS. You can't watch nothing when the VHS was going. Oh, you got, is it like the one with, about Ted Bundy or something? The book? Forgot about that. I do want to do a live over, there was something, one of you guys sent me an interview with Bill Thompson, actually. I thought we'd go over that maybe tomorrow or the next day. And then there's a new podcast that just came out. I want to go over that Danny Rowling guy because he killed people with a K-bar. I believe sorority girls too. I think the first one was 4 or 5, but there's a lot of similarities. So, wow. Didn't know this about him. This guy, his killing spree, Danny Rowling, inspired the slasher film franchise Scream. Wow. Didn't know that. Yeah, don't be messing up the VHS. I have a VHS still. Bought myself one. You're a Libra too, Catherine? Oh, I should have known that. Should have known that you were a Libra too. We got to be carrying all these people on, like, you know, balancing out all those other signs. Oh, I didn't get to go see the planets. Ashley, are you in here? Did you go see the planets? Oh, really? You're in Ohio too. Look at that. Joey girl, Canton, Ohio. Canton, I think, is up north, right? I live in Ohio like my whole life. I should know. I was just reading the chat. But I do have the VHS still. I have it for my there's one video out of the collection that I kept. They were my old, I probably should have kept them, but I'm sentimental when it becomes like certain things. Like I will keep it with all of me, but like some of that stuff I was like, this can go, like the old Eagles games and stuff. But I think I gave a lot of it to my nephew. But I did keep, it was my best Christmas ever. I remember I was like 12 years old. I got the I Love Lucy Barbie, the Vita Vita Benjamin one, where she's like, you know, eating or taking the cough syrup. I got that Barbie and I was so excited. It was the best Christmas. And my parents are both in the video. So it's just something I'll always cherish, you know. I'll always cherish that video forever and ever and ever. But the song playing in the background, you remember that Sarah McLachlan, that Arms of an Angel song? With the dogs, you'd always see the animals in the commercials. It makes you cry every time you see it. You want to give every dog everything. That song was playing in the background. I'm like, and I think you hear my mom say, put on something for Christmas. She didn't really talk like that, but I love home movies. And I do have my dad's home movie too, actually. So I have 2. I have my dad's because they put theirs on VHS from like the 60s. And I do have that. I actually used to have books. I got rid of those books too. I got rid of everything. Girl, I should have kept them books. Those were like $40 each. But they were like, they said exactly what you were. Like I'm like a medium or middle Libra or whatever it is, but you could like read all about it, the relationships and birthdays. And it makes me cry too. Seeing them dogs wants me to get them all. Ashley, did you get to see the moon and the stars and the planets? It's raining so hard here, we won't be able to see nothing. Now I'm kind of sad. If you can see it, send me a picture. If you can get a picture of that, I don't know. See, that would be fun to watch, Stacy, the projector ones. That's what they did with my dad's film. It was like one of those, and they moved it to like a VHS or something. It had to have been one of his brothers or sisters that did that. I don't even want to know if a man matches me, even if it does. Funny. And thanks for the compliments on my hair. I appreciate that. I sat in that chair for like 2 hours today. I was like, man, I talked to that lady about everything. I was like, honey, I haven't seen you in 9 weeks. I was like, yeah. I was like, you can put extensions in, girl. Like my hair was so growing out. Like my bottom one was like, it's up here now. And it was like down to like here. And it was hitting my ear. So it was kind of bothering me. But I'm like, I'm all about going as long as I can. It's raining there too. Oh, wanted to see the planets. I wanted someone to see the planets. Oh, really? Your mom did you like an ancestral chart or whatever it's called? I didn't know that. My mom was a Capricorn. No, Cancer. She's a Cancer. I don't watch the ASPCA ads. I turn them. I'm not gonna lie. I can't watch them. I can't watch it. I get so sad. The song will have me crying. And I told Vince I need to get a Farmer's Almanac calendar book. And he was like, okay. And I think it was Catherine told me today, look at me. I'm listening to y'all. I got my blood pressure monitor right here. So I took my blood pressure before the live. It was really high. I don't know how to go back. 136/101. And then it went down to, I can't remember, but it was fine. It was like in the yellow, which is like not the green, but it's like you're still okay. So I'm going to see tonight whenever I get in bed, I'm going to take it again if I sweat. Because if that's what it is, I'll be like, what? But I also went and picked up prescription today, and they told me not to take it with this other prescription I take. And I'm like, well, I have been. Like, I thought that after I walked away. I was like, I've been taking this together. Because I take it 3 times a day. So at night, I take my muscle relaxer. That's what it is, with a medicine that helps with my shaking. It's like a Parkinson's medication or something. Mine's been high too, is she? That's why I'm like, I don't know either. My mom had high blood pressure, so maybe I'm getting it from her. Thank you. Thanks, Mom. But I don't know. Just I know when it's high too. And they say that it's like a silent killer, like you can't feel it, but I swear I can feel it. So I'm gonna take my blood pressure tonight, because sometimes I'll get these like hell of flare-ups. Like I'll just be sweating. Summer of fried foods. She's actually down south. It's bad here. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background, but it's pretty bad. I know. I need to tell my doctor, I think. It's weird because I have so many specialists that I really don't go to my team of doctors. Like I have a team of doctors at the internal medicine place or whatever. I don't really go to them because no offense to them, but a lot of them are really young. They're resident. They're doing their residency and stuff, and they don't really know what they're doing with me. Like they just don't know. They just don't know. I went there last time I went there, and I had them take over my medications. They started taking me off stuff left and right, and I was like, that's fine. And then 3 months later, I was in like, it was hell. I was like, that's not fine. So, but yeah, I do need to tell my doctor. I told my Botox guy. I told the neurologist. I was like, I'm telling you, get the message around. Be careful, Ashley, because I don't want you floating down a river. I know I don't like doctors either. I don't really mind them, but then again, I just have too many. Just too many. Willows, you're kicked out. Get out of this chat now. You didn't hit the like. You guys are good. It's storming here. It said it's going to storm for the next couple hours too. So I'm going to jump off here. I'm going to go. I'm like hungry. I don't know what I want. I ate. So when me and Vincent first started dating, he would make me those little cups of macaroni and cheese. We were so poor. We weren't really poor, but we were college kids, I guess. So he would he was anyway, but he would make me those little macaroni, like mac and cheese things you could put in the microwave for like 3 minutes, and you put the cheese packet in, and it's like you got mac and cheese. Well, I'm not a huge mac and cheese fan, but when he makes it, I really like it. But when I made it last night, it was not good. So I'm gonna ask him if he'll heat it up. It only takes 3 minutes to heat them. It's probably, we do the same thing. It's a special touch. Oh, Felicia, I understand. Tell him I understand. I did that right after my accident for the first summer. I was going to up to 3 appointments a day. And I was about to lose my shit. I was about to lose it. And I did finally lose it. And Vincent took me, he's like, we're going to Florida. We're going to go see your family. We're going to go take a little vacation. And he got me calm. And because I really was like like up here. I was just like, it's just too much, you know? I know, a little tiny mac and cheese, man. Oh, now I'm kind of wanting it. I'm gonna go see if he's awake. I don't know. It's just there is it has a special touch. So that's what's going to happen with me, Felicia. I need to get to my doctors more. Like I'm supposed to do like physical therapy and this, that, and the other, you know, all the things. And I do need to have a surgery. So I think what is going to happen is I'm going to just book them all up. And they're going to be like, oh, we're going to be dealing with her for longer than a year. Because that's what you need. You just need one doctor to say that he's going to be seeing you and taking care of you longer than a year. It's been 10 years for me since my accident. Like, we're not getting any better. We're just coping over here, you know? Like, I mean, not like I'm not getting any worse, but I'm able to sit down and stand up when I want. Those are things that help, you know? That's what it is, Cheryl. Yeah, the little love he puts in there. I told him thanks for going and getting me Wendy's the other night. He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, if you were any other person, it was 11:30 at night, you would have been like, we'll get you a hamburger tomorrow. Not him though. He's like, I'll be back. The love of a man, you know. I don't even know if I can actually go down to, I can't even go down to like close out the live. Okay. Well, I mean, I can end the stream, but I can't like scroll down to play the music or anything. So it's so weird. Maybe I can go on brand 2. Let's see if it lets me go to unfiltered. There's unfiltered, but it won't let me scroll down either. It'll let me do the background, but I won't have music. Oh, that's just so weird. Okay. Let's just go back to this and we'll just end out the live with no music. No, nothing. I'm just going to go. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Oh, he can't bend or he can't run or bend or put on shoes. Oh. Well, let me know if you need any words of encouragement because I can help you with those. And he'll get better. Like they told me they're going to take my legs. They're like, and they didn't. Then they put some rods in there. You know, they took the screws out. It's just a whole thing. I know. I like the music too. It's like my thing. I can't get it to scroll. I'm like, this sucks. So I will see you guys all tomorrow. If you haven't yet hit the like button, all the buttons, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.